We want to ask you, me and Despina, what do you think about abundance? This is the topic of today's heartfelt conversation, and it came after very heated discussions here and there on different places of the online world. And abundance and money, these topics are usually hard topics. But me and Despina, we've been working very consciously with a lot of love and affection and compassion and empathy, both for ourselves, but also for our clients and for our audiences. Despina, how do you feel about this topic of abundance and of money particularly? And we have to tell you that this is not a stage conversation. We have not spoken at all about what we're going to co-create today. So you also are invited to co-create with us. If anything resonates with you, feel free to share your comments, your questions below, and we will make sure to address them. So there's been a money.
Yeah, I think money and abundance have very different, let's say, vibrations. And when I started working, let's say, on my money blocks, I was talking more about abundance. And I truly had to be in the energy of abundance of not only money, but also people, health, anything that makes my heart full. The word money has different aspects because sometimes your subconscious can be tricked and says, okay, I have abundance. I have a lot of friends. I have my soul family. I have a lot of things. So, okay, I don't have money, but I'm happy. And so the money is a little bit trickier. What's your experience on that?
My experience is similar, maybe even the same. We're never the same. We're having our own individual experiences, but I truly believe that abundance is the energy that feeds, that creates everything. Money is an expression of abundance, but because of the stigma, because of the trauma, because of the money stories, because of all this shame and guilt and all things that we associate with money, just mentioning the topic money for many people creates a trigger and they kind of disconnect it from abundance. On the other hand, abundance, as you said, is something that we all crave or aspire to, and we have such a positive attitude towards. And sometimes thinking or working with abundance tricks us to addressing the issues we have around money. And we're thinking, okay, I'm going to unleash or allow a flow of abundance in my life. I start counting my friends. I start counting all the beautiful interactions or the abundance of leaves on the tree and the clouds and the air and the stars in the universe. And this is the right way to start on a positive side. But for some, including me, some time ago, the pain around money was so strong, so I would pretend that I had started resolving my issues around abundance simply because I was focusing somewhere else where it was easier. Because money is actually an expression of the value of interaction, of the exchange. Thousands of years ago, it wasn't money, it was shells, it was animals, it was bags of salt. There were so many things that were symbolizing the exchange of energy, the exchange of value. Now we are looking at money as the money in our purse, the money, the digital symbols in our bank accounts. And yet it's the same thing. The problem is that when we talk about money or when we think about money, our energy changes because of all the associations we have around money. Money in terms of the monetary expression, the exchange, the coin of the interaction, the currency of interaction.
One of the aspects I think most people associate with is comparing the amount of money you have in your bank with the amount of self-worth and self-value. And this is where it gets tricky. Because yes, when you work on your self-value, you can definitely charge more and get what you really feel you are worth in your services, in your products, whatever. But when you don't see that, let's say, reflection in the bank account, immediately it hits back to you. So it's kind of a vicious circle. Like, do I work on my self-worth, or do I work on my money blocks? Like, where do I start? That's one aspect. Of course, there are other aspects from society. I know I have people I work with who are making maybe $100,000 per year, and they're afraid to buy, let's say, something fancy to show off in a good way that they have money, to show that they're wearing old clothes or wearing. And they said, I don't want to show it because they will, come to me and they will, I don't know what they're afraid of, like deep down. But it's a really tricky subject, yes.
It is a tricky subject to talk about because we don't know how we would trigger the person in front of us. It is a delicate subject. It is an intimate subject. It is not an easy subject, but I believe it's worth starting talking about, and not in the sense of how much money you make. I actually was involved in a conversation exactly on this topic, how easy it is for people to start talking about their income and putting it out there, how many coaches, business coaches or spiritual coaches, they are taught in order to attract their clients to present the value or the impact of their services by the measurable things. And the most measurable thing is how much your bank account will grow. And we see daily who wants to make 10K a month, who wants to get to 6, 7, 8 figure. What does it mean actually? Seven figure turnover for a business. And if someone is making 1 million, but their expenses are close to the million and they're left with 100 or 10 or 20,000, what does it actually mean? Everything is so relative. And talking about that is, I think it's creating even bigger gap and dissociation between people, and is making, I think it's making the relationship less authentic. It's making them very superficial, especially talking on the subject. While I think it's time to start looking exactly what you said, looking into, let's say, the pain points. Because if I use the word trauma, even if it's the actual word, people are afraid to look into their trauma, or they're brought up through their whole life, or they see it in society, they see it in the family. And when they want or think about changing something, it's so uncomfortable because they are not understood, or they feel they're becoming someone who's betraying the family story of lack of success, for instance. As you said, they will be different, and maybe people will envy them. Maybe people will start coming to them to borrow money and never to return it. Maybe they will be used in personal relationship. Like me, I have so many stories to tell, and I've been working on them since 2009. And every time something is released, there is space for something new to come up. Like this continuous work of discovering more about what are the drives behind our behavior, behind our interactions, it is a never-ending process. Once you step into it, you continuously discover more and more things about yourself. It doesn't mean that you are not perfect. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough, or you are constantly sick or ill or insufficient. It simply means that we are developing the strengths to be able to tackle most serious things that come to the surface.
And for me personally, except for working on the mindset and doing, because I've seen a lot of work. Like there are a lot of different courses on manifestation, and I'm sure they all work because it's they're designed to work. But the only thing that is sure that I've seen from me and from my friends and from other people is that when you work on your money blocks, you need to do some energy work. Because what I've discovered for myself, most of my blocks have been rooted in other lives, if you believe in them, of course, or maybe parallel lives, however you want to call them. And they were not necessarily dependent on how I treated money or how I treated people just to get money. Some of these aspects had to do how I was using love to get money. So, oops, I was like, what?
Yes, this is something, of course, for our audience who believes in this holistic approach to life and believes that we are more than just our physical bodies and more than even our physical energy. Sometimes I cannot guarantee for that because I have not seen it under a microscope or like scientific data. I know that some people are able to measure the energy and the energy psychology tools. I know that they work. I'm using them, you're using them. What I have seen is that money trauma can be passed through generations. This is one thing. It could be inherited in the family, in the society, in the country. I have worked using family constellations to heal some particular aspects in my work when I was starting as a Bowen therapist 15 years ago. Other traumas or problems or blocks or limitations can be passed on through other lifetimes, whether past lives or parallel lives. Again, I cannot say is time linear, is the incarnations linear. Some people talk about parallel realities and our connections between them when we talk about quantum jumping or quantum leaps. I personally have lived through the prosecution trauma, and this actually propelled me to get certified as a compassion key therapist, addressing particularly the prosecution trauma for therapists, healers, coaches, because I remember, and this is a little weird story, so if you are listening and watching us, let us know how do you feel about these stories. This is the invitation to our audience. There was a time in 2009 when I had very bad neck problem. And this time I had started working already with my spiritual teachers, and I was in a shamanic retreat in-person event with one of my teachers. And there was this day when we had to work on particular physical trauma. And I decided, okay, let me work on my neck. And while we started doing the work with my partner, everyone had to pick a partner, every member of the group. I got into this vision or trance. It was induced visualization where I saw myself being prosecuted, persecuted, executed as a medicine woman. So I was burned, I was drowned in the water, my limbs were cut, I was, what is the word? They were dissociated from my body. Like all possible ways someone could be killed. This happened to me within this 1 hour or less. And this happened because I was someone different. I was the healer. I was the woman who was going against the order. I was the one supporting people. Like something that I'm doing now, I'm not going against the order, but the intention to support other people obviously has been passed on to me from this different lifetime. When the session finished, and it was a very hard session to go through, both for me and for my partner and for our teacher, she had to use some special tools to bring the harmony and to finalize the release of this energy. Magically, my neck problem disappeared. So this is the very first time when I actually started believing that there is something in this talk about past lives, parallel lives, and the things that we face in our lives are not always what they seem like. Someone would say, oh, because you are not following, you are not disciplined with money, that's why you cannot manage it. Things might be like that. This might be true, but there might be a different reason. They might be something that is rooted in mismanagement, in abuse of loyalty, in abuse of power in other lifetimes. Another story, I'm not going to tell it, but it just the fact or the reason, me being a ruler, a king or a queen in another lifetime and using power in a negative way had made me back then to make a vow to never, ever have power and abundance so that I don't make harm to people. And of course, this got healed by bringing it into the consciousness. And I'm so grateful that I have my own healers, my own teachers, my therapist. I'm working with you with the soul map and with other of your tools. Why we're sharing this with all of you who are watching us now, the live or the replay, is that if things were that easy simply by creating habits or simply by bringing someone to fix our accounts and to teach us how to manage our money, everyone would be in abundance. There are deeper processes in place. There is, as Despina said, energy that needs to be healed or released. But on first place, it is the awareness that we are more than what we seem and what is seen on the surface.
True. And me as a soul map mentor, because we create the soul maps for people, me and my colleagues, of course, we see in the map the ancestral lineage 7 generations back. And if there are certain energies, you know, and you tell the person who has taken the map that you need to work on your family beliefs around money. And of course, there is the karma or the challenges in life. And there as well, you can see like my previous life has the persecution trauma, like you, exactly like you, what you described. So it's real for me. Like I can see it, I know. And the funny thing is that I had seen this vision, like you, even before I got into the soul map training. And then I see it, I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, this information, it comes to us in the way that it's easy to come. When I felt it, when I experienced it, it was before I started using any of the tools that I'm using now. It was during a shamanic healing training or chakra energy reading. It doesn't really matter. The thing is that information can come to us when we invite it to come, when we are open to receive it, and when we are open to explore what is beyond that, why things are not working out for me, even though I'm putting so much effort, I'm pushing, I'm pressing, I'm learning, I'm hiring mentors, I'm hiring coaches, I'm creating, writing in my journals, I'm counting every penny, I'm making always informed decisions. Why things are not working? Because sometimes there is an energy that is blocking, that is energy as a cloud, if this is easier for you to visualize, that is stopping you from allowing the flow of abundance to go through you, because there is also this thing. What does the energy of money want? There is one beautiful process that I love to do when I work with sacred money archetypes. I know that you love it, Despina. We've done it on some of the workshops that I have led on the sacred money archetypes, stepping into the energy of money and feeling what is money in my world. What does it want from me? How does it feel? And sometimes money feels really sad when money is restricted, when there are bad stories told about money. What money wants is to dance, to move, to be joyous, to bring more joy, to bring more happiness, to be in circulation. It doesn't want to be stuck. It doesn't want to be accumulated in vaults and stay locked. It wants to create even more.
Yeah, true. I've been through this process with you. And it was truly a revelation, because sometimes, you see, okay, money, consciously you say money, sometimes whatever it is that you have, let's say, something off to say about money, and then suddenly you step into the energy of money, you're like, oh, that's good here. Actually, why did they do that all these years, huh? Mhm.
Yes, and I know that doing it once, doing it for first time, it's like, wow, what a revelation. I've never expected anything like that. But then it's also very good and very nice to start developing a relationship with it. To some of my clients, I give the task to visualize to visualize money as their ideal romantic partner, and to think about having dates with them and develop the relationship and be be of service to each other. The way money serves us, the same way we can serve money when we know what money feels and wants and desires. And this sounds a bit weird if you're not familiar with this concept, but we want to invite you to think about it, to think beyond the bank notes, beyond the credit cards, beyond the digits in your bank accounts, and think every time you use money, what is happening? You're paying with money, and this for some service that you appreciate or for a product, then this money gets into circulation and it goes to pay someone else's salary. This salary is going to be used to make someone happy or to bring joy or to fulfill some essential needs. Like, think about this whole process and the interconnectedness of all of us, and then you will start expanding your consciousness beyond the physical expression of money.
And sometimes you need a different perspective as well. I remember I was in a money workshop. I was doing it, and one of the ladies said, yeah, but the electricity bills are so high. And I told her, okay, what does the electricity company provide you? I mean, right now you have the air conditioning, you have the light in your house, you can cook, you can be grateful for the money, like give the money and be grateful that it will be returned to you, because all you can do a lot of things. Who knows, you can even cook something and sell it and get something back. And she was like, oh, I never thought of it this way, because we're kind of used to having some things taken for granted.
Yes.
And we forget to say thank you to the money that goes, and all we do is complain about the bills that we have to pay. But what you were saying, what the bills and all the services that they provide, the taxes we pay, for our municipality, our cities, it goes and it comes back. Because we have clean cities, how can you live in a dirty city? In a clean city, you can even have the mindset, go out and enjoy the day at the park, right?
Absolutely. And here comes also the next thing. When we choose what we do with money, choosing to do something good, choosing to put it into exchange of energy and exchange of good, we can be also conscious choosing to whom to give the money. I could choose to buy my vegetables and fruits from the local shop and not from the hypermarket.
Exactly.
Yet, if I have to go to the hypermarket, I still think that me paying for the goods here, this goes for the salaries of the people who work here. So it's always, there is a way to think about the good things that our actions make.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, the concept of happy money by Ken Honda, and there are so many other beautiful and powerful teachers who are giving us instruments to shift our perspective. This is very important to know that there are possibilities to change our thinking. There are also possibilities to rewire our brain, like literally to create new neural pathways. And there are tools that we're exploring with Despina in our new community, the Heartfelt Abundance. If you're interested, we will share with you the link below. This is a safe container to talk about money, to be open, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, because now what we're saying theoretically, but when you start talking about what actually is going on with you, you're making so much money, you feel stuck, you feel at plateau, you maybe even don't like the way you're making money. What is your next step? Money not always brings happiness, and shifting the perspective around money, removing sometimes physically the energy blocks. Like me and you, we both work with the emotion code. We know that sometimes we create heart walls that could be meters thick, like energy that literally physically blocks us from emotions, from the freedom, from allowing the flow in the interactions with people in the world. All these things we're talking about in the Heartfelt Abundance, our new space. And of course, we are offering tools and instruments and healing sessions. So it's a very beautiful space to be. If you're interested, you can still join as founding members. And there are special perks for the founding members. So drop us a message, private if you prefer, and we will share more with you. So Despina, let's share maybe 1-2 tips so that our viewers take away something useful that they can start using daily in their life.
I would say the more important, the one that hit me like a brick when I first heard it was you don't have a money problem, you have a receiving problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I will leave it there because it can, anyone can make their own interpretations. And if you want to explore it further, then, maybe we can talk about it further, or we can have the talk in the Heartfelt Abundance group.
Absolutely. Yes, this is a beautiful a reflection question. And what I would want to give you is next time when you have to pay something, when you go to pay something, you go to buy ice cream, you go to buy bread, or you go to pay a bill, think about all the good this money that is coming out of your pocket, out of your bank account. Think about the exponential positive impact it makes. Bless money that is going out and tell it, come back with many friends. So this was from us today on this very sensitive, but I also find it beautiful and empowering topic around money. If you want to continue the conversations, we're happy to do it with you in the comments below this video, as well as in Heartfelt Abundance. And we wish you all the best, abundant and flow and free and easy going interactions and life until next time. Ciao, ciao from now.